Normally each week I bring you historic kit cars from the past, but this week I've tracked down a man who's contributed a great deal to those historic cars of the past. Terry Sands now runs the Legend Motor Company in the West Midlands, and he's responsible for many of those cars. So, Terry, where did it all begin, mate?
About 30 years ago, Pen. I got involved in the early days through racing, a very deep interest in automotive cars, something out of the ordinary, something different. And from that came my first cars, my first special built cars, mainly for the track initially. Like most of us in the past, I played with the Ashleys and Ginettas and so on of the era. And ultimately that led to a desire to build my own car, or my own series of cars, which I felt would be acceptable to the general public and have the improvements on them that I'd wanted to see in the cars I'd bought.
Where do we go to? Where did you actually start manufacturing?
I started initially with like most people I guess, with the Cobra. Oh. Initially it was about 1974. I brought a little Model T Ford into the country and produced what was then quite unique, a Track T car, which was known as the Mongoose. And shortly after that, I had inquiries from people who wanted a Cobra replica. And we found a guy in Birmingham, of all places, that had actually got a shell and wanted to do something with it. But unfortunately, at the last minute, he got cold feet. And I was left then with a chassis that I designed and a desire to build a car. So I imported a shell from America. And that's really how it all began. The first two Cobras went out. They became replicated by quite a number of other manufacturers who all claimed, of course, that they'd taken their cars from a real car. And from then came a series of cars based on historic replicas.
Right. So was this Sheldonhurst? Was this where Sheldonhurst started?
This was a little before Sheldonhurst.
Pre-Sheldonhurst.
Yeah, this was pre-Sheldonhurst days. The company originally was Sandwood Automotive. Right. And basically at that stage we were involved with V8s, V12s, six-cylinder engines, but at that time came the beginnings of the 356, and that was in 1982.
Okay, so take me through Sheldonhurst, because they had a huge range of cars at one time.
Yeah, I was always accused of producing too many cars, but my theory was life is short, and get all your toys together, you know, before you pop your clogs. And there were lots of cars that I loved and could never ever afford, which I think is the whole root of the replica industry. You can provide something for people who've always desired something, can't afford it, or if they can afford it, maybe they can't buy one because there just isn't one. All the things that make a replica really important to that person. So I developed a range of cars, the XK120, the Cobra, of course. I was involved with D-types, and we did the Mongoose. We put the Mongoose into production as a car which did very, very well and crossed the barriers between the hot rodders and the kit car enthusiasts and the replica people.
The Legend Motor Company, I mean, I know two Legends. There's the Legend series, which is the little things, yourself obviously a Legend, but the Legend Motor Company seems to produce solely VW based cars, which, let's face it, is your roots almost.
Yeah, I've been accused, patted on the back over the years by journalists such as yourself for not liking Volkswagens. Now I have to say that the Volkswagen is an anachronism to me, because it's so old-fashioned. It doesn't really do things very, very well. You know, 50 years ago it was a very good car. 25 years ago it was a pretty good car. Now I feel that we're recreating everybody. There's a current thing now with with Brussels that all cars have got to be recyclable. Well, we've been doing that for years. Absolutely. In this industry. They're just way behind.